And a good detailed picture of the living conditions found on many stations is shown in the song The Old Bark Hut. Now the chorus of this is a little bit tricky, but you should be able to do it. It's just two lines, in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut, and then you sing the last line of the verse that I've just sung before it. So the first time, for example, first verse ends, that I'm forced to go on rations in an old bark hut. So you sing, in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut, I'm forced to go on rations in an old bark hut, and so on. We'll see if you can do that. Not difficult. My name is Bob the Swagman, and I'll have you understand that I've had many ups and downs while travelling through the land. I once was well-to-do, me boys, but now I'm so hard up. I'm forced to go on rations in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut. I'm forced to go on rations in an old bark hut. 10 pounds of flour, 10 pounds of beef, some sugar and some tea. That's all they give a hungry man until the 7th day. If you don't be mighty sparing, then you'll go with a hungry gut. That's one of the great misfortunes in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut. That's one of the great misfortunes in the old bark hut. The bucket I wash me feet in is to boil me beef in too. They'd think I was getting mighty flash if I should ask for two. Of a billy and a pint pot and a broken handled cup. They all adorn the table in the old bark hut, in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut. They all adorn the table in the old bark hut. The table is not made of wood, as many you have seen. For if I had one half so good, I'd think myself serene. 'Tis only an old sheet of bark, God knows when it was cut. It was blown from off the rafters of the old bark hut, of the old bark hut, of the old bark hut. It was blown from off the rafters of the old bark hut. And of furniture there's no such thing, 'twas never in the place, except the stool I sit upon, and that's an old gin case. It does us for a safe as well, but you must keep it shut, or the flies would make it canter round the old bark hut, oh the old bark hut, oh the old bark hut. The flies would make it canter round the old bark hut. In summer when the weather's warm, the hut is nice and cool, gentle breezes blowing in through every hole. You can leave the old door open, or you can leave the old door shut. There's no fear of suffocation in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut. No fear of suffocation in the old bark hut. When winter comes, preserve us all, to live here is no treat, especially when it's raining hard and blowing wind and sleet. The rain comes down the chimney and your meat is black with soot. It's a substitute for pepper in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut, in an old bark hut. A substitute for pepper in an old bark hut. Beside the fire I make me bed, and there I lay me down, and think myself as happy as the king that wears a crown. And all I've got's a billy can on which to lay me nut. I use it for a pillow in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut. I use it for a pillow in the old bark hut. Such flocks of fleas you never saw, they are so plump and fat. And if you make a grab at one, he'll spit just like a cat. They stole my pack of cards last night and were fighting for the cut. I thought the devil had me in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut. I thought the devil had me in the old bark hut. So now I've sung my little song as nicely as I could. I hope the ladies present will not think my language rude. And all you handsome boys and girls around me growing up, remember Bob the Swagman in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut, in the old bark hut. Remember Bob the Swagman in the old bark hut.